Oh, hello, hello. Welcome to part 2 of our Sizzix seasonal selection. We're just going to give people a couple minutes to find us. Get all my die pieces here ready. Ta-da! Da-da-da-da-da. So we're, hello, happy Friday, everybody. We're going to be working on our Sizzix seasonal selection kit today. So this is going to be part 2. And if you want to follow along live, slowly live, we're going to, this is what we're going to make today. Ta-da-ta-da. Good afternoon. Hello, Renee. We're only going to use the flower part. I die cut my centerpiece here to my flower part, just to let you know. I did actually do it, and then I forgot to put it in, but I don't mind that I forgot to put it in, and I could always go back and do it, but it looks cute the way it is anyway, so I'm just going to leave it the way it is, but I did do it. So we're not going to work with any of the leaf pieces today. We're just going to work with the die pieces, the flower pieces in that center. We are going to get messy, so we are going to spend today talking about the pearlescent medium and the acrylic paint. So you'll see there is a little bit of acrylic paint in here and pearlescent medium because we used the, I used the pearlescent paper. So I wanted, I don't know if you can see it on camera, I wanted the paint to also have that like pearlescent-y shimmery look instead of being like a flat acrylic. So we're going to play with that. And we're going to get a little inky. So you will need one piece of white cardstock cut down to 4 card panel pieces. You'll need some sort of water. You'll need a palette knife. You'll need your distress or your pearlescent medium, your acrylic paint. I like to use the acrylic paint. Oh, don't look at this. This is super old. I like to use the acrylic paint with to apply with some sponge daubers or a palette knife, so you can choose whichever way you want to do it. And then and then I used some ink colors. This is going to be our color palette. Is we used some brushed corduroy and some fossilized amber. And it doesn't have to be these exact colors, so I just used like a yellow and a brown to create that centerpiece, which I ended up not using. And then I used kind of 3 reds or pink shades. So I used picked raspberry, festive berries, and abandoned coral to create my flowers. So, or any 3 shades of pink or red. And I just wanted that kind of color palette to pop. And then our, you have a die cut in your packet, and that's Love, and Love is also shimmery. It's always really hard to get the shimmer to show here on camera. I'm going to try and get it to shine. But the Love itself, the die cut, is also shimmery because we'll be playing with the pearlescent medium. So that's what we're going to do today, and we're going to go kind of nice and slow-ish and kind of get stuff. Actually, you'll need 2 sheets. Sorry, I lied. 2 sheets of, no, you won't need 2 sheets. I'm going to do like the color playing just to show you. So I'm going to use 2 sheets of white paper. If you want to do that and make swatches, you can grab a second sheet of white paper, but you don't have to. But cut it down to A4 panels, and then we're going to talk and create. So, yay, ta-da! Let me see. Oh, are they showing up on the screen? Sorry. They're abandoned coral, festive berries, picked raspberry, but any 3 like pinks or reds, and you'll see, if you look closely too, you'll see that it's not even like smooth. There is a little bit of like water reaction happening in the flowers, just kind of make it a little, I feel like this blossom die is so cool, but it's also just very floral-y, or very like artsy. So you can do a lot of fun kind of things with it. So you can see that there's like water spots and stuff on it. Water stains. So hello, hello. Okay. Yeah, you can use distressed inks and non-oxides, whatever you have in your stash. It's just, and then to create some sort of water reaction, if it's water reactive, but you don't even have to do it water reactive also. So don't even stress too much about making it 100% the same, but if you get it close enough to similar, it'll look super nice. So, with that being said, I'm just going to move some of these things a little bit around so that we can kind of get, I'll keep this up here like this for now while people are still kind of gathering. Ooh, do these all have tags? Oh, this one doesn't have a tag. Does this one have a tag? Oh, ho, ho. Maybe we'll do that. Ta-da! So those are our colors. While we're working, I'm going to put my water to the side. We're going to play with pearlescent medium and the acrylic paint. If you don't, if you have a kit, if you bought a Sizzix seasonal selection kit, which was $39.99, it included the dye, the pearlescent medium, the acrylic, the opulent paper, the card bases and stuff. You'll be playing with it. If not, this is what we're playing with. This is what we're featuring, and this is what we're going to walk through and just kind of learn about today. Okay. So I'm just cutting up some, what do I have? Hammer mill. So cut up your sheet of paper. Again, it doesn't have to be just a plain sheet of white paper. If you want to play with the acrylic paints with me while I'm doing it, you will need 2 sheets of white paper total then. So one for playing with paints and one for, what do we call it? One for the flower part after. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces here. So these I'm going to set aside for my flower part. These I'm going to set aside to show you how the paints react, or how the pearlescent medium reacts with kind of paints and stuff. So you can see here I have some pieces that I have been working on and playing with, but this is plain white paper with there, can you see it? Just pearlescent medium on it. So the pearlescent medium is just going to give everything like a nice glittery shine to it. Not even glittery, just like pearlescent, like a shimmery shine to it, because that is what it looks like, and it is pretty translucent. So if you did it on white paper, it's just going to give it this kind of like nice sheen. If you do it on black paper, you can see here where it's not as thick. This is just with a palette knife, so you can see how it looks. So right here where it's not as thick, it's more translucent. Here where it's a little thicker, it's more opaque, and it's super dry. Ta-da, ta-da. And it'll hold the cute textures in it too as it dries, so you don't have to make it nice and smooth. So this is, it is a good value, isn't it, Melissa? Oh my God. So you can see here the sheen of, this is just straight pearlescent medium on black cardstock, and it's creating that sheen. And then I'm going to put this here because then maybe that'll, so then this is a die cut piece. This is pearlescent medium straight on the white paper, and then it was die cut after it was dry. So I say a lot. Oh my God, my husband was like, hey, you say a lot. I'm like, oh no. This is another panel I was playing with. So this is just plain acrylic, the yellow acrylic paint. And you can see that it is flat. There's no shininess or shimmeriness to it because it's just what comes out of the bottles. This is a creamy acrylic paint from Sizzix, and we have it in a whole bunch of colors. And what's cool about it is it's meant to hold on to the textures and dry raised or layered or whatever. So this is just I spread it on here with a sponge brush, and then I used the little, oh, what is this called? My little maker tool from Sizzix? That's a good question. What is this called? We have these in the store too. Oh, here. It is called a, what's it called? A texture tool. Ta-da! This is a texture tool, so it has a flat side. It has one flat side and 3 different texture sides to create just kind of fun pieces in the paint, in the pearlescent medium. You can use it to create texture in the expand paste. Just lots of different things. So yeah, thank you, texture tool. Isn't it funny? It's like such a simple name and I couldn't even remember it. Oh my God. Okay, sometimes I am organized, I promise. So what we're gonna do is, oh, and then, ta-da, here I have, I don't know if it shows up 100% on camera, but it does a little bit. So here is, here are 2 different layers of the the blossom. This one is just the acrylic paint. I also ran it through the embossing folder, so you can see I've been playing. And I also inked the embossing folder too to create a little bit of ink in those divots, but that's a whole different thing. So this is just the plain acrylic paint. Once you add the acrylic paint to the embossing glaze is kind of, you know, translucent-y, opaque-ish. And when you add it to there, it's going to lighten that color. I mean, if you add a lot of the acrylic paint to it, it'll get darker, but it won't be as shiny. But you can see, I don't know if you can see. Oh, where's that? I'm gonna use the black envelope again. So when the light hits it, it turns that flat, creamy acrylic into a shiny, lighter version of itself. And it's super cool and pretty. So we're going to be doing that. So we're just going to make some swatches and play with that. And you will need your, we cut up our paper last week. So the base of this is the pearlescent navy. So you'll need this pearlescent navy at the end of playing with our little swatches here. So let me make sure I have my pearlescent navy, which I probably don't. Oh, I need to cut it down. Just because I keep making and making. Okay, pearlescent navy. Okay, no, that's the wrong size. Anyway, so we'll get to, where's my little, I said save it to everybody, and then I didn't save mine. Is that funny? Ironic. Where's my bag? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh. Stuffed everything back in my little bag that everything came in. And then, oh, see, I've been playing with it. I was right. Haha. Okay, so here is just the acrylic paint. I did one swatch. We're just going to do little swatches to see what they look like and get ready here. Okay, so we're going to cut that down so we have our base just to be prepared because why not? Okay, so I have my card base handy here to the side, and we're just going to play with the acrylic paint and then the pearlescent medium and then mixing the two together. So get your palette knife or whatever you want to work on. I'm going to work on my glass mat. Not really this. I'm working on this afterwards with my ink smishing-ish. But I like to make a mess on my glass mat because that's just more fun to clean, I guess. So first thing, well, you can decide first thing to do a acrylic swatch or a pearlescent swatch, or You can do it side by side. You can use one panel and you can do all three side by side, however you want. Actually, I'm going to do it side by side just so everyone can see on camera side by side. So I'm going to take my pearlescent medium, and you can see that I use mine a bunch. For this first swatch, I don't really need to do anything. I'm just going to like get it up like this. Hello, hello. So we're working on our Sizzix Seasonal Selection Kit. So we're just going to take this and I'm just going to put it on my white cardstock here like this and just kind of swatch it out. If I get too much. Like this, and then you can see like how shimmery it is. It's super, super pretty. So I'm not going to close that yet. So I just kind of put it right on my paper. You can see one swatch straight into there like that. Okay, then I'm going to take just a little tiny bit of acrylic paint and, oh, where did I put my other? Take my acrylic paint and put it. So I'm just going to take one sponge dauber, just because this is easy for me. You can keep using your palette knife if you want, but the acrylic paint is in that tube bottle, so it's easy to just kind of get it out and swatch it. I'm trying not to touch the pearlescent there because I don't want it to, this is just plain acrylic paint. So we have pearlescent, plain acrylic, and then we're going to do right here the mix of the two together. So the yellow is plain and the mix of the two together, I have a little bit, you don't need a ton of acrylic paint. So, ooh, I think you're going to have fun, Karen. So you don't need a ton of acrylic paint there like this. And then I liked, because I don't know, I put a bunch of the pearlescent in here and then I mix it up. If you want the pearlescent to be darker, you could add more yellow to it, but just kind of work it back and forth, spread it a little, and you'll see that that yellow and the pearlescent have mixed together, and it's a nice soft yellow now. So now I can swatch it with my palette knife if I want, or I have a second brush because I'm messy, and I'm just going to swatch it right there. Next to each other. So for me, I have the pearlescent medium, the regular acrylic, and then the two mixed together. So you can see, well, there's a little bit of a glare, but shimmery, flat, shimmery. I don't know if you can, if that comes across awesome, but that is, and you can add pearlescent medium to really anything. So if you wanted to, I'm just going to put this to the side to dry. So if we wanted to ink it up with something else, like oxide or spray stains or ink pad or color pad, you can do that too. And we'll do that momentarily. But first, what we're going to do is, now that we've mixed this cute pearlescent mixture, grab your pearlescent panel, and you might need to make more. It just depends on how much you put down originally. But we're going to grab our pearlescent panel, and you can decide how you want to do it. So I did like a big streak here, and then just did a little bit here. I would have done more streaks, I think. So the second time we're going to make this card, we're going to do more streaky like this. So instead of using this, I'm going to use my palette knife because I want some of this cool like art swatchy, like artsy streaks happening. So for that, I am going to add more acrylic ink and more pearlescent medium to my craft mat, because for me, I would rather have more than I need than not enough, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna add a little bit more pearlescent and then a tiny bit of yellow and mix it up. And the best part is now it's going to be a pearlescent-y paint on top of that pearlescent-y, what do we call it? Oh, look at the cream. See the creamy paint and the pearlescent? If I let it sit here, it would dry like that. It would dry with that texture. That's the best part about these paints and mediums, but we don't want it to do that. So what we're going to do is, okay, now my disclaimer is I am not a real artist. I'm a faux artist. I do what I want, and then if it makes me happy, I keep it. If it doesn't, I flip it over and I try again. But what I did was I did like a streak down like this, and then I did a streak up like, ooh, kind of up-ish, just to get like paint on my paper. And then I'm going to just kind of just smooth it in and out, and then just try and create some texture. That's it. That's how I did this streak behind it. Just I wanted a little bit, and you'll want, you know, like some texture at the end. So if you don't want it to be textured in the middle because you're going to glue stuff down, that's fine. But you can kind of add some textury pieces there. And then this time I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, except I'm not going to go all the way. So I'm going to go like this because I didn't like that brush stroke look too much. It wasn't my favorite. So I'm going to go like this. And it's okay if I get it on my glass mat. I'm not too worried about that. I have a wet wipe here. The back of the card, I don't care if it gets messy because I'm just going to, what do you call it? I'm just going to tape it down to a card base. Ta-da! And then I'll do the same thing, like as much or as little as you want. Okay, now that should be, oh, I'm gonna go off and like make it smooth. So now I should have a long streak and just kind of 2-ish streaks with a little break in the middle. Maybe even too much. If you feel like you went too far while it's still wet, take a wet wipe and move some of it off. You can. You just have a certain amount of time. Let's see if we're in that time. See, ta-da! It shows like, it might show a little bit, but then you can go, I say you can go back in and smooth it out. Or you can just do 2 streaks, whatever. I just wanted a little like gap for, ooh, look, you can put your fingers in it too. Kind of push, ooh. I just wanted a little bit of a gap for my die cut that says love. Okay, and then we're gonna put this to the side. Isn't that fun, Julie? So we have pearlescent with that charcoal pearlescent paper. We're gonna put this to the side so that it dries. Somewhere safe so you don't put your fingers in it like I did the first time. So I'm putting it, you laugh, but there's really not a lot of safe places where I am working. Ha ha ha. Okay, so we have, then we're just going to clean up a little, but we're not done with our pearlescent medium because like we said before, that it can, you can use it just on plain white paper, and we're going to do that. So either with your finger or with a foam brush, whatever you're comfortable with, you're going to take pearlescent medium and you are going to cover your love die cut with pearlescent medium, and that's just going to make it shimmery. Now, I know that there's like glitter pens like Aqua Shimmer and Wink of Stella, because trust me, those are my go-to, and I have those too. The pearlescent medium is way shinier, and it's different. It's like a different shininess. The other ones are just kind of like liquid glitter. So I love this technique instead. So like warming up, you can see, ooh, my swatches are drying. So like your swatches should be drying too. And look at how beautiful that is. Oh, so this is what our love is going to look like. It's going to be pearlescent-y and shimmery like this on that card front. So we're going to grab our die cut. You should have it in your kit if you bought a selection kit. Haha, I am covered in paint. So in our kit, you should have a little die cut pack like this. So here is my die cut. So I'm going to grab this love. This love is a die that I love. Ha ha ha. No pun intended, right? Or super pun intended. Where did I put it? It is one of my favorite sets from Hero Arts, and we stock it. We try to stock it year round all the time because of this die cut here. But it also has super cute like Valentine sentiment. And so, what was it called? Love Stamp and Cut. We love our Stamp and Cuts from Hero. So this die cut piece is already in your kit for you. And you will, oh, my back just cracked. Poking out your little pieces only because we're adding kind of like paint to it. Okay. And I know some of you are like, oh my God, your hands are covered and everything. That's okay. That's me. Like, you're probably way cleaner than me. But it'll come off. I use a, what is it called? Oh, I forget the name. Sorry, I'm just grabbing another foam brush. I use a the scrubby. We carry them in the store. They're like a sponge brush that removes like grease and oils and stuff. So I use that, and this will all come off my hands tonight, and it'll be easy peasy lemon squeezy. So you can do this on top of a piece of scratch paper or straight on your workspace or glass mat. I'm going to do it on a piece of scratch paper just because I've already made a giant mess everywhere. I'm just going to use a foam dauber. Now, if you're like, oh, that's so wasteful, you use foam daubers for acrylic paints and stuff. Well, if you get to it while it's wet and you run it under water and you rinse it out really good, you can reuse it. And then I just dub it like my, oh, okay, you're my acrylic paint. You're my pearlescent. You're, so you don't have to feel like you're wasting things, because I too don't like to waste things. Okay, so I'm just gonna, now you can do, oh, what is happening? There's like lint on there. I'm changing my mind. I have like lint on that brush. I'm changing my mind, so I'm just gonna use my finger and just rub pearlescent medium over this die cut. Just rub, 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 rub. Okay, I probably should not recommend doing it on another piece of paper. Do it on something that's going to be easier to move. But this should be okay. Ta-da! Afterwards, look, I can even save that piece and use it. So I have pearlescent medium all over my love. There, you can use like a pokey tool just to kind of clean up the edges, and your love should be nice and shimmery. I have not heat set them. So I will, I will tell you, Terry, here you go. I'll give you an example. I did try to heat set it. Ugh. So I was playing with the paint, and you know, the die cut pieces that we kept from when we die cut the last time. And I was trying to dry in between the layers and it bubbled. So like on one hand, it's really cool texture, like added to it. But on the other hand, you can see that, oh, look, it's still kind of like, I can still push the air out and around. So I wouldn't heat set it. I would just put it to the side. This pearlescent medium is going to dry. It's almost dry. It's going to dry fairly quickly. Even my swatches in the acrylic paint, they're pretty dry, just sitting here on the side. I haven't added any heat to them. The only thing I'm going to add heat to is the oxide that we're going to start playing with next. So next we're going to do, so we did our cute little, so where we are, we did our swatch to see the difference. We have our love. See, my love is dry, actually. This is dry now. It's dry and it's trying to get a good, like, it's shimmery. I can see it. You can see it in person. It is very shimmery. It's pearlescent. Oh, it shows up more when you go like this. Can you see it? Ooh, shining there. But that love is dry. This swatch, almost dry. The acrylic paint, pretty dry. This swatch is dry. So this has just been sitting on the side here waiting for me. Okay. So I'm gonna put these somewhere safe too. I'm gonna grab my 4 card panels that I made and put these to the side somewhere so I don't get paint everywhere. I'm gonna grab my 4 card panels now, my ink, which you don't have to use the same colors. Don't feel like you have to use the same color palette, but I picked, I don't know why I picked pink, but pink, it pops. It like pops on the card panel, I feel like. So I really wanted to go outside of my comfort zone because, you know, my comfort zone. Oh yeah, it's super fun on the die cut words. It just adds a little bit of jazz to everything. So this is gonna be for the inside of our flower. And then these are gonna be for the 3 different layers of our flower. So you're gonna want 3 shades. I mean, you don't have to do 3 shades. That's also, you know, just me, but 3 shades of like pink or red. And then I used a brown and a yellow for the center, which I didn't even put on my project. Oh my God. But had I put it on my project, it would have been there. So I have 4 card panels and that's what we're going to work on. And I'm going to move this to the side. I'm going to move these guys over a little. Now, because I have a mess everywhere and I have some pearlescent stuff here, I didn't want to make a huge mess. So I have my little waffle flower mat and I'm just going to add color. I have a heat gun ready because this is where I will use the heat gun just to speed up a little bit of the drying time and get that water reaction happening. I have a vaporizer or a mister, something where you can flick water. If you want to spray water, that's fine too. When you spray with the vaporizer, it gives you tiny, cute little fun droplets. I don't know if it's like adjustable. I don't know. I saw like Tim use it the other day and it was like, shoo, but I'm not doing that. So I'm going to take the bottle out so I can flick some spots to create just a little bit of like oxidation. There we go. Just a little bit of oxidation on those flower layers. And you're going to see that there's like white streaks in here too. Because I'm just going to use the ink pad straight on my paper. And if you look very gently, very closely here on the pink, oh, can you see that? So the pink has tiny bubbles. I did spray it with the pink. I sprayed it with the vaporizer. So it has like smaller, I wonder, can I like zoom in? Ooh, there we go. So you can see the pink has like smaller little bubbles because that is the spray that came out. And then here you have these big kind of water droplets. That's from flicking. So it depends on whatever kind of technique you want. Oh, I hope not. I'm still here. Try refreshing, maybe, if you hit reload. I can grab my laptop too. So that's what we're gonna work with really fast. And I'm gonna grab my laptop. Take 2 seconds to make sure everyone has, make sure we didn't disappear. But technology. I don't want to hear myself. Okay. Okay, it looks like it's still working on my end. Okay, so what we're going to take is, we're just going to start with a color, and we're going to take the ink pad straight to the paper with color, and then spritz some water and heat, add some heat to get that water reaction. The same thing if you're using Distress or Oxide, doesn't matter, hit it with the heat because it's going to dry and it's going to bring that water reaction out. If you're using Hero Hues, the reactive inks, the Hero Hues reactive inks, same thing. They'll do the same thing. So, and in no rhyme or reason, I'm just going to ink up my card panel. So, and this is how you saw how there were some areas that had a little bit of white streaks in it. That's just where the die cut ended up. This is, for me, it's going to be my base layer. So I'll show you if you just do a spritz. So we're just going to spritz, and you can see that it's more of a spritz, and then heat it up to bring out that water reaction so you can see it. And that's it. And I'm going to put that to the side, and I'm going to do it again with my next color. And this color, so I'm going to do Festive Berries. Do the same thing, like rub. Try in the middle-ish to get it, I don't know, there, inky, whatever you want. And this time I'm going to do a flick instead. And I'm just going to take that out and just flick. And then you can see the reaction happening even before you hit it with some heat. And we're just going to keep going on our next color, which is Abandoned Coral. No rhyme or reason. I want my flower to look like, I spent a lot of time really trying to make it artistic. This is my faux artistic look. I don't know if it's faux, but so you can see that water reaction happening. Do you have to do this part? No. You just want to do the inky part, just do the inky part. But this is, that's just what I'm doing. On this last piece, because it's going to be my little tiny dies that are my, whatever, my innards, I'm just using half a sheet for each color. So I'm going to turn this way real fast. And it doesn't matter. So see, this one I have a brush corduroy. I have a Distress ink. Doesn't matter. It's still water reactive. So I'm just going to, I'm right-handed. See, it was like bothering myself. Now that I have this, I can cut multiple centers too. So I won't throw this paper away when I'm done. Oh, I want it to be really nice and dark. Ooh, ooh. This ink pad needs a re-inker. Okay. So I have those two inks side by side. Oh, this is our Waffle Flower Mixed Media Mat. So I go between, I also have another one. Oh. So it depends on, I should be using this one, but this one sits on my other desk behind me, so don't mind the mess. I have this one for up here. So this is a small one, and then we have the Sizzix version of it. Look, you can see my hair sitting behind me. This one is fun too because it has the ink wells and the panels. Oh, you guys can see that. and it covers the whole glass mat, which is fun. So I have kind of a weird workspace here. I have like a tall standing desk where I have my glass mat, and then behind me I have a little sitting desk, and that's where I keep my one mat out all the time. I'm gonna put it back afterwards. But these are great because they're silicone and you can use them for everything. So we have, oh, I'm gonna do the oxide, or I'm gonna do my water. Why did I do that? I'll grab and flick and flick. You don't have to flick. You could also just tap on there, whatever you want. And we're gonna do that and that, and then we're gonna throw some heat on that just to get it to react. Okay. And that is all of our, what do we call it? All of our inking so that we can make our flower. So now I'm going to use the Sizzix switch machine. I have it here, the electronic cutter, and it'll fit a piece of 8.5 by 11 paper on here. So I can die cut my whole flower at once. So this is why I love this machine, because I'm a lazy crafter. I should stop saying that out loud though, but I am. So I'm just going to get some purple tape that I have here hiding up. And now I gotta remember, I want pink my bottom, the darker red is this base, is this layer, and just kind of remember that this piece is going to be kind of open because it's going to die cut out, so you can kind of play with where you want, you know, which part you want on your flower. If you don't care that much, just slap it down somewhere. But I feel like, well, we worked for it. We made it inky. So I should pick where I want it. Da-da-da-da. And then the two little guys. Do make sure you have your pokey stuff poked out. Otherwise it might not. This is just purple tape on the back. So I'm going to do a brown base with a little yellow top there. And just keep it in the corner, because now I can reuse this piece. I can reuse multiple times to oh, there's two. There's the Sizzix mixed media mat and the waffle flower media mat, and we usually have both in stock, and it comes in different sizes too, so that's the fun part. And if not, I'm pretty sure we have more on the way. I feel like there's always something coming every single day lately. There's a new delivery. Oh, well, yeah, there was a trade show. Okay, so I'm going to take this. I'm going to put my cutting plate on top. I have my adapter, I have my base, and I'm going to run it through my machine. Oh, nope. I lied, it moved. So be careful. Be careful, be careful. So it's running through my die cutting machine. And I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to move this. I have my cutting plate here. Oh, they wanted to do more work for me. Ha ha ha. Come on, purple tape, release me. Ta-da. So I have my flower layer there. Oh, okay. So now if you have a big streak like that you don't like, just take your ink pad and put more ink on it. I don't mind. I don't care. I'm just going to leave it the way it is for me. And just take out your cute little pieces. There's my save pile. Stick my... You guys laugh, but I have my purple tape here. It's the waffle flower media mat. I hope I answered that already. Sorry. So I'm just going to get my little flower pieces out. See, had I added this before, it would have looked cool too. But it also looks cool if you don't add it. Just trying to line it up. So it is a little, it's kind of like a little dark inside piece there. Before I take this out, I will say one trick. So my Swish machine is broken, but I haven't got it fixed or replaced yet, but only because a pallet jack knife went through it. Did I keep using it? So it didn't cut all the way through, so I'm not going to take this one out. I'm going to put it back in here so I can run my little, I found that flower back in. But if you look on the back before you start pulling things out, you can see like here where it didn't cut all the way through like that. Oh, well, that piece is probably fine, but this other one is not fine. So I'm gonna run that through the die cutting machine one more time to get it nice and thick, or nice and cut. So now I have it, it's all, I can see all the impressions everywhere, so now I feel safe popping this out. That's just my little weirdness, because if you're like me, you have had to die cut things multiple times because you didn't pay attention the first time. So that is my one die cut tip there. But sometimes you might just have to do it anyways, especially like this one is a little more intricate. That a chrome precision plate probably would have been a good idea for it, but not necessary. But I do love my chrome plate. So don't get me wrong either. Very carefully pull this out of your die. I'm just going all the way kind of around. Once I went really fast and it, ooh, I don't know. Would this be archival safe? Are they? I mean, they're acid free. I use them on my fade resistant dye inks. Ooh, I don't know. I use them on my scrapbook pages. I also only have boys, so I'm hoping that they appreciate them down the road. Ta-da! So I have my layers, poke out my pieces, and we're going to glue our layers together. Come on. This would be fun. You can die cut this a bunch of times and put it on a scrapbook page. Oh. Okay. Pokey mess. Ooh, look at this layer. Ooh, this layer is fun. It's got a bunch of streaks. It has a bunch of water droplets on there. Oh, I had one spot that didn't come. Whatever. We're going to push it out. There we go. If it rips on the back, no one knows. What's that? No one's going to know. Nobody's going to know. They're going to know. That like TikTok sound. My kids always play in the background. Okay, keep my dies. I'm going to throw my dies back in my folder there, and then I'm just going to assemble my blossom flower with some liquid glue. Again, so I'm going to find my anchor point. I like to look at these two petals that look like, you know, two toes stuck together. I don't know. That's my anchor point. I thought it was a good spot there. So I'm going to put glue on this back piece here, just some liquid glue. Okay, find my anchor point. And then because I'm using liquid glue, I do have a couple seconds to kind of move stuff around and get it going. Da, 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 da. Nice and flat. And then I'm gonna do the same thing here, find an anchor point. I have this long swish here and this long swish here, where I have this long swish here and this long swish here, and that's what they're going to line up there. So we're gonna put some glue. Come on, my little tiny bottle of glue. So I have liquid glue. Find my anchor point. I have this swish one. Oh, which is this? Yes, this big one here. Like that. And then just, oh, that liquid glue. So if you're a little off, doesn't matter. You just kind of, with your liquid glue, you have a little bit of time. Yeah, good enough. I just have this one spot here that's going to drive me crazy, so I'm going to add a little glue there. Okay. Then I can do my center. So last time I forgot to do my center. This time I'm not going to. You don't have to do it if you like the look of the flower without the center. Keep it like that, or just use part. Ooh, oh, maybe not even use both pieces. Oh yeah, guys, I think I'm only going to use the one. Doesn't that look cute with just the yellow? I'm only using the yellow. I'm making an executive decision on my own. Boop. Come on. I'm just going to use the yellow, and I'm going to put it, I don't know, however it goes in there. Just jamming it in. Putting it down. A little extra glue. So now I have my assembled, ta-da, flower like this. Yay! And it has, so you can see, I'm going to try and zoom in again. You can see that it has like the oxidized layer pieces in there. We have lots of fun like texture and inkiness happening in here with not a ton of work. Okay, I feel like not a ton of work. Okay, then what we're going to do is, so I cut it in kind of half and then in half again to get like my 4 panels. So I'm just going to, I have my little mini cutter here. I just picked 2, like I picked a point. So where did I pick? I don't know. Like somewhere where it looks like I could just cut straight down. Wherever you want to go, just pick a point, focus. I put it in between the 2 petals and just kind of moved it. So it's not really like perfect, where like perfectly center, if that makes sense. But I just picked, oh, you can't see. Sorry. I just lined up, I don't know if you can see that now. See this, the blade piece here? I'm just gonna line up the middle of 2 petals on one side of the flower and the middle of 2 petals on the other side and make it as in half as I can. So I'm just gonna do that and that, and just force it. What the heck? Aww. Okay, that didn't happen last time, so pretend like that didn't happen this time either. I don't know why that happened. But you know what I'm going to do? Not a big deal. I'm just going to trim a little off there so I don't have that happening. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm just going to trim a little bit off. So I'm going to go closer to the top, I think, too, because that's where there's a lot of force. And I'm just going to 1, 2, 3. Ta-da! Okay, so now I have kind of 2 halves with a little bit of a oops. And then I'm just going to do the same thing again to one of them. Doesn't matter which one. I'm just going to make it flush, pick a point in between the 2 floral pieces there, and get it down. So happy and bright, isn't it? So I kind of have my, you know, a little bit, it's a little bit less because we have some of its little body parts here. But, you know, sometimes that happens when you're using the guillotine cutter, and don't freak out, just, you know, trim some off a little. Okay, you're gonna find that card panel that you were keeping super safe somewhere, and see if it's dry. So hopefully it's dry. Ooh, it's pretty dry. This one I have a lot of texture. It's mostly dry. This side is super dry. This side in the middle where it's super wet, not super dry, but I don't care. I'm still gonna do it. If it's not dry, you can heat set it a little bit, but all we're doing now is gluing down. There's no super complicated parts to it or anything. We're just picking a corner, and we're just gonna make it flush with our top corner there. Flush and flush, and the same thing in the other corner. If you don't want this streak on the left-hand side, put it on the right-hand side, whatever makes your heart happy. If you want it going, you could orient your card this way, you could orient it this way, whatever makes you happy. I'm gonna put that other piece here. Oh, this piece is missing a little bit of glue, which is fine. So we'll do a little surgery here because of our little surgery problem that we had. We had to cut part of it off. And the same with this panel here. And this one, I'm just gonna kind of like make it flush and eyeball center it a little bit as best I can. And it's actually like not horrible that it's still a little wet there where it's like really thick. Thank you, Diane. And then my die cut piece that I was keeping safe, that is just pearlescent. So we added that pearlescent media on top of it. And we're just gonna add some glue to it. And put that down. Oh, so all the stuff to make this card came in that Sizzix seasonal selection kit. Now, if you were going to buy everything separately, this is how amazing Sizzix is and how great they are to work with for Creative Escape. If you were to buy all of this separately, it would have been, I think, $65, $69. I actually even forgot to include the price of the paint. Oh. It does, right? The center does make it pop a little bit more. And so in this one here where I didn't put the center, I still have it cut out. I could cut it and go back and add it. That's not a big deal. Like, I can still do that too. So, but that is our, ta-da! Day 2 of our Sizzix seasonal selection kit. We still have one more day. We still have one more product that we haven't even played with either. It's the Sizzix metal sheets. So we'll be doing that next time. We have, if you didn't catch the first one, we made this card where we just focused on layering the flower, which is awesome. And because it's not a colorized, but it is a layered flower, and just creating a fun color palette. So we had this and then this. I know, look at kind of dreary, kind of bright. Betcher can do everything. I don't know why I said that, but I can't. A little bit of everything. Just go outside your comfort zone. And then we have the card bases that come in the kit will fit this panel. Where is the card base? You can use whichever. There's a black, a white, and a taupe one in the pack. And if you put it, it'll have like a very thin border. If you don't like the thin, you can just trim it down a little bit too, or you could trim the card base down, which might be easier too. So, and it'll fit straight on the cute little Sizzix packs and envelopes. So thank you, and we hope everyone has a happy Friday, and we'll be back on Tuesday with our new workshops and events. If you haven't come into the store, we have a cute little workshops and events wall now. We'll probably do a little store walkthrough on Tuesday where you can see it. And what else is happening next week? Oh, next weekend is Galentine's. So our Galentine's crop weekend. So we're super excited for that too. Our February calendar is posted. I don't have a printout here. But we have some open crop days that are not on the usual weekends because our February calendar is a little bit full with classes and stuff coming. Who did we say? Stephanie's back with Cricut classes. I have 2 classes coming too where you get a bunch of product in them too. Because I think it's fun. So it's kind of this format too. We'll just be walking through each card. We'll be die cutting together and stuff. And there's written instructions for those. Somebody asked for a video. I could probably do a full video after, but we're not doing like a live video because it was taking away from like people that are in person. So we can just like record and send out a recording after. Or there's instructions. So we hope everybody has a happy weekend, and we'll see you guys Tuesday. Bye.